up, y'all? T-Bob here from Snaps, daily college football show that I hope you really enjoy. And I've been getting a lot of crap on my show lately about, choosing Alabama over Texas. You know what I didn't do, though? I didn't bet on him. You know who I did bet on? Kansas, okay? And I did it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app because when it comes on where I like to gamble, I love the DraftKings app. And it's because they got incredible offers. If you're already a DraftKings customer, well, check this out. Every single NFL game day during September, you're not going to have just one, but two new offers waiting on you when you sign in. So you'll have to sign in to see exactly what those offers are. But just remember, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, every NFL game day, all customers getting two exciting offers from DraftKings to play with. It's a ton of fun. But what if you're a new customer? Well, I've got an even better deal for you. You use the promo code T-Bob when you sign up, okay? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, promo code T-Bob, T-B-O-B. You bet $5 on any NFL game, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. Put $5 down on any of the games. Don't even have to win. You get $200 instantly in bonus bets. You can go play with those on college football, NFL, whatever you want. You can play with those and some of those incredible deals you get. So you see it. There's not a more fun place to get in on the action than DraftKings. And you can do all your same game parlays, multi-game parlays, whatever you want. So download the app now. Sign up with the promo code T-Bob, T-B-O-B, $5 gives you $200 in bonus bets instantly. And for returning customers, remember, every NFL game day, two exciting new offers from your official sports betting partner of the NFL, DraftKings. The crown is yours. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to a brand new episode of Snaps. It is Monday, September 25th, 2023. I am T-Bob Hebert. He is Aaron Murray. Daniel Best says, live snaps. Do my eyes doth betray? No, every Monday. So we're kind of figuring out this new schedule as we, work around our many responsibilities. And every Monday we are live on YouTube. Our Saturday reaction shows are live on YouTube. And the rest of the time we're live on AMP. And you can, then everything's uploaded to the YouTube. So youtube.com/@volume-snaps. Please continue to share it, like it, subscribe. We're trying to hit 6K, y'all. Let's go. Josh Outs, T-Bob, you ready to talk about the back-to-back champs' chances to three-peat, or you want to keep crying? Don't worry, Josh. We're going to get to Georgia. And I'll try to stay awake during that portion of the show because I cannot wait to see the analytics and how many people immediately shut the podcast off because you start talking about the single most boring school in all of college football right now. Aaron, what's up, man? How we feeling on this Monday?
Feeling good. I wish we were looking forward to the same type of Saturday that we just witnessed a couple days ago, but another good slate of games we'll get to later in the week, and I can't wait to teach you a little bit about how to bark at individuals to bring the juice like we saw this past weekend.
Yeah, for those that maybe don't know what Aaron's referencing, shit, Brum, I can't believe I didn't have you bring this up. It's on me. I just thought we were past it, but really cringe video of UGA fans hitting all fours and being held back by a friend barking at UAB fans. Like, it was to the point when I saw the video, I assumed it was maybe from like South Carolina week or from a big SEC game last year and that I had missed it. And no. Turns out they were barking at UAB fans who at that point are just kind of there to enjoy the sights, like, hey, it's Sanford Stadium. Like, I want to see what this is about. Whatever. We'll get there. Before, and thank you, Tyler. Tyler, congrats on being the worst team in the SEC, T-Bob. Thank you very much. It's a big win. Golden boot, baby. Before we get to Georgia, we got a lot today. We're going to go favorite in the SEC West right now, a grade on UGA through 4 games, realistic expectations for Colorado after the Oregon beatdown. Is Ohio State tough? I want to shout out the Left Behind Bowl, Washington State, Oregon State. Great game from Saturday. Yeah. I was calling it Battle of Bastards. Left Behind Bowl, I think Zach's a funnier name. Shout out Jake Hess. That's where I heard it first. Maybe a little Pac-12 talk. And then we got our Snaps Top 10. A lot to get to. And maybe if we have time, ruminations on Taco Bell and inflation. But first, let's start in the SEC West. Bama gets the big win against Ole Miss this weekend, Aaron, really just dominating the second half of that game. LSU, coming off a dominant performance, gets all they could handle from KJ Jefferson in Arkansas, does escape with a 3-point home win. Aaron, when it comes to the West, is it down to these two teams, or do you still have a third in the mix?
I think A&M could still be in the mix, and I'm very fascinated by the A&M game versus Alabama. I think A&M, we talk about matchups, like where are your strengths versus another team's weaknesses, and how does that play out on a football field? And right now for Ole Miss, their strength was obviously not at the line of scrimmage, and that's where Alabama's, they're just bigger and stronger, and they dominate up front. Really, Ole Miss couldn't do much on offense. You look at A&M, like what is A&M's biggest weakness right now? Because the offense is pretty damn good. And I know they struggled a little bit in the first half this weekend versus Auburn, but overall, that's a really good offense. I think we both can agree on that. It's their secondary. They got a good front seven. Front seven's pretty decent, but their secondary is atrocious. Just go back and watch the Miami game, and you can witness all of that. And where does Alabama struggle? Throwing the football. It's like that's a matchup where A&M has played well against Bama for 2 straight years. Beat them 2 years ago, almost beat them last year. The game's in Aggie land. And your weakness is also Alabama's weakness. So like then all of a sudden you look at, can that be an interesting game? I think that could be an interesting game. LSU to me struggles with the secondary a little bit. But
I would say more than a little. I would say more than
a little. But once again, like that's not Alabama's strength. Like it's not like this is an Alabama team that can throw it all over the ballpark. It's like if I'm in the SEC West this year and I'm trying to compete with Alabama, well, having a weak secondary is not going to kill me. It's not going to kill me.
No, I agree. So that's where it's interesting you say A&M. Real quick on A&M, I agree with Oots here. I had the same question. Aaron, do you think Max Johnson should keep the job for Bimbo Fisher? I also appreciate the really dumb, lazy humor of Bimbo Fisher. That shit's funny. Is there a quarterback controversy in College Station? I wanted to ask as well.
And I think you were pretty shocked when I texted you this over the weekend. Like it wasn't like a legit quarterback battle in fall camp. Like Max Johnson, for everything I heard, was balling out. And I'm a big fan of Max. I was a big fan when he moved over to A&M. Unfortunately, he got hurt last year and wasn't able to really demonstrate his what he's capable of doing. But he's as we saw this past weekend, one of the most reliable backup quarterbacks in America. I would honestly put him in the top 10 quarterbacks in the SEC right now. Like that tells you something about where the SECs are when it comes to quarterback play, but also tells you how good of a quarterback Max Johnson is. So like, I don't think, go back to the question, there isn't a quarterback controversy. If Weigman is healthy, he is the leader on that football team. But I also think too, from a coaching standpoint, if he's not 100%, I would kind of put him on the bench for a little bit longer if you're not feeling comfortable with him going out there playing. I mean, Max is a hell of a quarterback.
Okay, so I keep hearing that Wigman's, obviously the leader, but then I also hear, like you said, that it was a close competition. And like on Saturday, Wigman was bad. The offense looked awful when he was in there.
He had one bad half the entire season, and you're going to
bench him? I'm not going to bench him, but I'm saying you may have to think about it a little bit. Like if he struggles, okay, well, I will say this then. When he comes back, if he struggles, you're going to tell me you don't have a shorter leash? If it's a big game and he ain't getting it done?
No, I agree with that. I will say there's a shorter leash, but if he's healthy, he's going to get the first crack.
I'll say this on Max as well, which is crazy. I have never seen a backup quarterback in the SEC enter a game with a 33-7 touchdown to pick ratio sitting behind him, right? Like that's his stats. Like I've never seen in the SEC a quarterback that amassed that many stats, that good of stats, only get benched, whatever. Okay, you think A&M? I'm not putting A&M in this conversation yet.
Really?
I think they're too flawed. I think the more realistic third team is it's actually Ole Miss, kind of. For the matchup standpoint that you said, because Ole Miss, look, I think LSU opened up as 3-point favorites in Oxford this weekend. That's a sketchy game where Ole Miss matches up really well against LSU. I think LSU, to your point, actually matches up pretty favorable with Bama, right? Probably the best offensive line to handle that Bama defensive line in the entire conference. So I'm almost seeing a little triangle of wins here, a little rock, paper, scissors starting to develop, Aaron, which that would be awesome because I love chaos and it's fantastic. But I don't know. I mean, look, to me, if we're talking best of West, at the end of the day, though, while maybe I think it's still LSU and Alabama, and
Yes.
I'm giving a slight edge to LSU because of Jaden Daniels.
No.
And
I think A&M beats Bama. I do. I think that game is
okay,
in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. A&M has Arkansas at home this weekend. Then they got Alabama after that. I think A&M would win that football game. I think A&M is just as physical up front. I think A&M has the better quarterback. I think A&M has the better receivers. And, I give that slight edge to Alabama when it comes to defense. But I don't know if Alabama's going to be able to go on the road into that environment and score more than 20 points.
Yeah. Okay. You make a compelling argument. No. That's a good point. I guess I'm just kind of
the game will have to look like Ohio State versus Notre Dame this weekend, which I think it will. I think that's going to be the type of ball game. But then that type of ball game, as we've talked about before, comes down to turnovers and which quarterback's more prone to turnovers, who's turned the ball over at every single game. Well, it's Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
Him on the road. That's
so,
going to be the difference in these close games. That's the big issue, man. And he's not solved it.
But do you agree that LSU is the slight favorite to win? I'm not saying overwhelming.
I think LSU is the best offense in the SEC. I think right now they have the best playmakers. They have a quarterback that's playing lights out at the moment. I think they have a really good offensive line. The running game's going in the right direction right now. The big weakness, secondary. The secondary has been a huge glaring issue. And I was a little bit surprised too against Arkansas this weekend that you didn't see more consistent pressure on KJ. And part of that could be the fact that you're going against KJ Jefferson and you don't want to kind of get out of your rush lanes. Maybe you don't get after him as aggressively. But still, I was disappointed with that front four, which I was anticipating with Mason Smith back and moving Harold Perkins around a little bit more as more of a rusher. You would see more pressure on the quarterback, and I just didn't see it.
Yeah, I think. I agree. Where I was wrong in predicting this game, because I thought LSU would win handily. I didn't show nearly enough respect to KJ Jefferson. He started to take over that game late. He got in the flow. He ran the RPO perfectly. And Arkansas's O-line was probably better. But let's focus on Jaden Daniels right now because he had a rough start. For about a quarter and a half, he was bad. And last year, you would have seen Daniels flatline and remain bad the rest of the game. This year, he ends with a 20 out of 29 stat line, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and LSU scores on their last, I think it was 7 or 8 possessions, including the final field goal where they waste 5 minutes and just control, win the game. Yep. And right now you look up, and this is so crazy because locally there's like constant conversation about whether Jaden Daniels is good. It's mind-numbingly dumb. I don't, you give me a quizzical look. I can't, it can only be, it can only be explained by just the passionate insanity of college football fans. You're so close to something that you have no perspective and just like maybe a tinge of racism. But right now, Jaden Daniels, let's look at his SEC.
Not in Louisiana. Not in Louisiana.
Chill out.
No,
okay, chill out.
So.
Okay, Georgia, glass houses. Right now, Jaden Daniels, 324 yards per game. That's first in the SEC. 12 touchdowns, first in the SEC. 72% completion. That's first. Well, I was doing passing. That's fourth in the SEC. 189 quarterback rating. That's first in the SEC. It's 10.5 yards per attempt. Remember, the big knock last year was kind of check down 7.5. No, 10.5 yards per attempt. He's also averaging 50 yards a game on the ground. He's a back-to-back SEC Offensive Player of the Week. So if everything comes down to quarterback, and the question is who's the favorite in the West, that's the guy that and he's played a good sample size, right? I mean, Florida State, Mississippi State, and Arkansas now. So 3 or 4 good games. Like, that's the guy that I'll bet on. So that's why I'm answering this LSU, not just because I may be tinged with a bit of homerism myself.
There's 2 quarterbacks in this SEC this year because it's been a weak SEC when it comes to quarterbacks. Like I just told you, like I think Max Johnson is a top 10 quarterback in the SEC and he's a backup. Like that's telling you the quality of the starters and a little bit to obviously how good we both believe Max Johnson is. But there's 2 quarterbacks that have played at an extremely high level. And Jaden's one of them, and I would say Spencer Rattler's the other one. Like Spencer has been incredibly impressive this entire season and has kind of had to shoulder the entire burden without much to help him out at all. But go back to the woes. Like, he was late, man. There's some throws where he worked on his deep ball accuracy this offseason. I saw it in spring. You saw it throughout the first few games of the season. And he was just a step late where the receivers were having to stop, slow down.
Yep.
DBs were catching up. But then once he kind of just got the rhythm and timing, it was, obviously we saw, off to the races. And this offense, when he's playing like that, which he has for 90% of the season. There was a quarter versus Florida State and then the quarter versus Arkansas where he just was a little bit late with some of the throws. When he's playing at a high level, which he's more than capable of doing and proving to us he has done that, I don't know how you stop this offense, especially with Diggs at running back and what he's been able to do.
So feeling strong about UGA.
I still think LSU. I think LSU is the major glaring weaknesses to the extreme of what we've seen from A&M and Alabama at times are not there. Like if you want to go position by position, LSU is stronger position groups. I think the majority of them, if you want to compare the teams.
I mean, look, the offensive line is so damn good. It's the best. It's better than the O-line group in 19 that won the Joe Moore Award for LSU. Like it is the most dominant LSU group I've ever seen since I've been doing this job. JB asked an important question. Why do both ghosts have pirate beards? I don't know about you, Aaron. My mustache doesn't connect to my beard. Like, does yours at all? Mine does not. It's very sad. I wish it did. I'd probably have a few.
Is that the definition of a pirate? Is that the definition of a pirate beard?
It's not a pirate beard, right? You think about the old Tampa Bay Buccaneer logo, one that you should be very familiar with. What kind of mustache do they have? You think about Paxton Lynch back in the day. I always got like vaguely pirate vibes from Paxton Lynch, and that's what he had going on as well. It's a good question though, JB. Look, so you mentioned the best quarterbacks in the SEC. Statistically, one guy who's right there, but you didn't mention is Carson Beck. Let's talk Georgia, Aaron, and
just let it off your chest, buddy. Just let it off your chest.
No. Again, guys, look, I got to thank Georgia because I'm someone, my brain spins like a million miles an hour. And sometimes like I've been having trouble sleeping. Normally I do like an audiobook or something. Lately, I just turn on like a Georgia football podcast. And I mean, I'm talking within 5 minutes, I am snoozing like a little, I'm just feeling good, dude. Right. Because the same questions are being asked over and over. Is Mike Bobo actually good? Is Carson Beck actually good? What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the running back? There's injuries there. Do we have a kicker? Blah, 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 blah. Because there's nothing actually exciting within the game to talk about. So how would you grade Georgia through 4 games thus far, Aaron Murray?
I would give Georgia a nice solid B right now. Just a B. What's so funny about that?
Grade you could possibly get.
I know, but it is boring. It's boring.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, what have we done? Have we done a Georgia game breakdown yet this season? No, because
why would we?
I haven't watched, besides the game I covered versus UT Martin to start the season off, I haven't watched a Georgia game live. I watched part of the South Carolina live, but then it kind of got ugly and kind of moved on. But like I go back and rewatch it on my iPad and just watch the coach's copy because I'm like, I'm not going to waste 3.5 hours of Georgia football when you kind of know what the outcome's going to be. Like I'll just wait to breeze through it in 45 minutes and not 3.5 hours of agony.
True.
It's just, it's unfortunate. It sucks. Like, I mean, yes, like as a fan, it is boring. And it drives me crazy that fans like this shit sometimes. Like fans want to go to a game that's a blowout. Like they freak out. Like, no, I want the Ohio State Notre Dame game. I want 17-14. Yeah. Like no one why are we so in tune now to think that a 17-14 game is not a good game? That was a quality football game. Like awesome. That was an NFL type game. Not a lot of mistakes at all. Not a lot of penalties, not a lot of turnovers, back and forth, just hard-nosed, good football. And fans don't like that. They want blowouts. They want to be, at the bar in the fourth quarter. And Georgia fans right now are kind of, I don't know. I think some of them are torn. I think most would not. I say most, but like fans freak out when games are close. Drives me crazy.
No, but also I still think that's probably one of the okay. But look, I'm sorry, because I have derailed this. We are talking about a truth that is self-evident to all. So let's look at the actual games themselves, Aaron. Where again, kind of like we predicted before the year, the stats have been very good. The flow within the game hasn't always felt great. because of how stuff like the AP poll works, they're always going to remain at number one, probably no matter what, until they were lose. So I would frame it like this. When it comes to winning an SEC championship, are you more or less sure about when Georgia runs into a good team than you were preseason 4 weeks ago?
I'm less sure. No. Listen, I'll regress. I'll take that back real quick. I think I am more sure because of the way they played in the second half versus USC, and that's a team that
okay. I loved Kirby's halftime speech. All-time good halftime speech. Win the moment.
Great halftime speech. Win the moment. And that's the type of game that I want them to have. Like I talk about, like there's been all like the USC game was not a boring game. Like that was a 4-quarter game. Everyone stayed in their seats the entire game. So 1 of 4 to start the season have been a legit battle, which it shouldn't have been. You are significantly better than USC. So that's why I'm kind of torn right now, because you are a significantly better team. North Carolina dominated the trenches versus USC, had 9 sacks. You weren't able to do that. You struggled on both sides of the football in the first half for a team that you are significantly better than. So that concerns me. And that should concern Georgia fans. But what also should get them excited is the fact that you do have some dogs on that football team that can go in the halftime, make the adjustments, and then dominate in the second half and find a way to win the football game. Like, that's what we needed to see. Georgia's had that team for 2 years. You saw it versus Missouri last year. You saw it at times the year before. When things aren't going perfect, can you just find a way to win the football game?
Yeah.
And at least they still have that DNA in them that they can go do that. So mixed bag.
And I love Kirby Smart because of that. Like, I mean, we all know he's an elite coach because of the resume, and we all know he's an elite coach because of recruiting rankings. But to me, it's every time that I hear Kirby Smart talk that I'm like, oh shit, like I get it, because I think we're all, everybody sees that first half against South Carolina. They're expecting like what the fuck are we doing at half? And he being a good coach always knows when do you leave with the carrot, when do you leave with the stick? And he was like, no, my guys need to be lifted up a little bit right now. They need to be reminded that we've been here before, and we need to narrow the focus. You know me, I love the saying one snap and clear. That is the football golden rule my dad raised me on. And that's essentially what Kirby's getting at, saying, win the moment. Because when you're oriented in the present, when that is a frame of mind that you form a relationship with time with, you're not afraid of failure because the outcome is future based, right? And you're not worried about what just happened. You're not worried about screwing up because that's the past. It doesn't matter anymore. When you're rooted in the present, all that matters is what am I doing at this moment to try to accomplish what I'm seeking to do. And there's real value that, especially in the game of football, and Kirby knows that. So
I don't
UGA B. Yeah, B. Absolutely.
And I don't think they're gonna get challenged for a while again.
No.
Like Auburn is not gonna be a challenge. Kentucky is, I think, a good team, not great team. But I mean, they're a better team. They're a better team than South Carolina. Yeah, another boring team too. I think Florida wins that game this weekend. We'll talk about that. Vanderbilt, obviously, no. Like,
no. I don't even think we need to go through the rest of the schedule. I would just stop.
I'll get to the Florida game. Let me just get to the Florida game real quick. Because I've been on some sidelines this year and I've seen these teams, what they look like. Okay. And I will be honest. Florida has the players that you look at and say, my God, that looks like an SEC football team.
Oh, okay.
Like they have players on both sides of the football that have the size, that have the speed. And I know the game this weekend wasn't anything sexy. I was on the call for it. And they drove up and down the field. They just couldn't execute in the red zone. But that's like kind of a pandemic that's going on right now in college football. Offenses just can't score in the red zone for some reason. But they were a little bit banged up at the receiving position. They were missing some of their key guys. This is a Florida team right now that has a quarterback who's, I know you give me shit about this, but Graham Mertz is playing well. They have 2 really talented running backs. They have some pretty talented receivers, and I think they have the best front 7 in the SEC. Like their front 7 with that D line and those linebackers. I'm guilty
of not watching Florida closely enough. I'll take that.
Just watch that front 7. Like the secondary is suspect, but we've named multiple teams in the SEC that we put on a high bar that have suspects defensive backs.
Yeah, a lot of suspects.
Front 7 is really damn good for Florida. That's like, I'm telling you, I was on the field pre-game because I always like to see, like, what did this team look like? Do they look physically imposing? Like, do you have guys that walk off the bus and scare the shit out of you? Florida has multiple guys that they walk off the bus like, damn, it's a good looking football team that Billy Napier has right now.
Well, so we'll see. I also was kind of laughing. All 4 Georgia games been at home as well, which is kind of crazy to think about. So Georgia's got a path left B. Sure, we'll see where it goes. Let's talk Colorado. They fall to Oregon on Saturday. Bo Nix, absolutely spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Lanning, absolutely spectacular. Um, I want more. I want more personality from everybody. Okay. I
Yes.
love when Prime talks shit. I love when Lanning talks shit. I may criticize when somebody like Jay Norvell goes on there and talks shit, but I love when they talk shit. It makes it all so much more exciting. So
Mm-hmm.
don't take my love of one, meaning you hate the other. No, I love all the bullshit. I love the drama. I mean, hell, that's what we do here. But Oregon does exactly what they said they were going to do, and what most of us thought they were going to do. They go out there and they dominate Colorado, beginning to end. We talked about the game bit on Saturday, so don't do that. I want to talk about going forward, right? As we're constantly adjusting our expectation for this Buffs team. What do you think is realistic? I feel like I actually have this mathed out perfectly. Like, I feel like I know exactly what the correct win total for them should be.
Well, I do want to go to one chat in there.
Oh, yeah, go
Nick
for it.
Talent in the chat says, "Is Sanders and Hunter out of the Heisman race?" Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Especially with Hunter being out for a couple more games, that's obviously a loss of momentum. And then
Yeah, no, it's not Hunter's
this,
fault. He got hurt. You can't get hurt and win a Heisman.
you can't get hurt and win a Heisman. And then for Shadur's standpoint too, when there's 3 legitimate Heisman, and now I mean the Washington State quarterback had an
Cam
incredible
Ward,
weekend.
baby.
Cam Ward, I told you about him preseason. When you have 3 or 4 other Heisman Trophy quarterbacks in your conference who you're going to play, and they're going to have better games than you,
Yeah.
you can't win the Heisman.
No.
You can't. Like right now, if you had a Heisman vote, there's no way you could give a vote to Shadur and not Bo Nix after what happened this weekend. It's unfortunate because it's not fair
and
because they're on a better football team, but like it is what it is.
And what else is unfair? I don't even think you can give it to Bo Nix, but Michael Penix is right there. Or
I'm
Caleb
just
Williams.
saying that, like, yeah,
I
get what I'm
I
saying.
get. No, I'm
Yeah.
reinforcing your point.
Yes.
I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
It's not like Shooter is playing bad or anything. It's just
No.
we're gonna get to the Pac-12 quarterback list in a little bit. It's unbelievable. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think 8 wins pre-bowl game would be fantastic for Colorado, and it's very doable, Aaron. 8 wins would be 8-4. Okay. So right now you're 3-1. So we're gonna assume a USC loss to push us to two losses out of the 4 that you're allowed.
Yep.
You have to beat Arizona, Arizona State, and Stanford. Okay, which all you should. You'll be favored in all those
6.
games. So now
where are the other
you
2
have to
at?
go. So now you have to go 2-2 against UCLA, Oregon State, Washington State, and Utah. And I'd favor them against UCLA. Right. So I'm thinking then not a big favorite, but I would. So I'm thinking, can you steal one? Can you steal one off of Oregon State, Washington State, and Utah? I think you can. I think you maybe could. Again, so 7 maybe more realistic, but if they can get to 8
7
bowl game, that is unreal good.
I think 7. I think 7 is could happen. I think 8 with a bowl game. I think seeing what we saw this weekend from Washington State, I think that concerns me a significant amount. So like seeing like they're actually pretty damn good, and I think Oregon State's still a very good football team too.
Yeah.
But I was kind of looking at that as like, okay, I don't know if the Cougs, how dominant they could be this year. I think maybe they could have snuck in that win, but going on the road there to their home, which is a tough place to travel to, I think that's kind of that 8th win that I had penciled in last week that I'm kind of taking back now. So I would say 7 is the goal. 6 is realistic. But once again, man, even if you go 6 or 7, you're going to a bowl game. Can win 8 games in a bowl. Whew.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a season.
Yeah. I mean, especially we all know where they came from. So
yeah.
Colorado far from being done this year.
I'm interested how they. I'm very interested. I'm sure we'll break this game down because it's Colorado versus USC, and USC's coming to town, so a lot of excitement. But like I want to see, because Dion had a great post game speech. Like didn't make excuses. Said, "Listen, we got our asses kicked. We're gonna get on that bus or on the plane. We're gonna go back and we're gonna figure this out." And you can't change your identity in a week. And we talked about it yesterday. Like I would love for this team to find some way to run the football, but you just can't sprout 300-pound offensive lineman out of your ass. You are who you are right now. But USC is still not a super physical football team. So maybe you do somewhat commit to the run this weekend and try to create some more of an identity on offense besides just Sanders running around trying to make plays, because of a subpar offensive line. But I just want to see, like, can this team, who was obviously first game against TCU, all the hate, all the doubters, come out there and won. You kind of built some momentum. You win 3 straight games. You're on cloud 9. Everyone's talking about you.
Mhm.
Now you kind of get knocked off that pedestal a little bit. People are all the haters are now out now.
Yeah, totally.
And they get fueled off the haters, which is a good thing too. But how do they respond? Are they front runners? Which I'm not expecting them to win this weekend, but I just want to see a team that can at least be more competitive than what they were last week on the road versus
Well, and
Alabama.
I mean, look, I haven't watched a ton of USC this year. I'm guilty of kind of ignoring them after that shitty San Jose State showing from the defense early on. But I think Oregon's defense is way better than USC's. Like, I don't think that's that crazy of a take. And so you should have, like, Arizona State just put up 28 and they don't have a quarterback. You should be able to have some success against USC's defense this weekend, especially at home. I want to talk more SC later in the week. So after Notre Dame, Ohio State, we talked about it. The Ohio State comes away with the walk-off last-second victory. It's what football is all about, man. 1 play, 1 yard. Are you going to get it if you win? If you don't, you don't. I mean, that is football distilled down to its purest form. Only Notre Dame has 10 guys on the field, right? But whatever. Ohio State still gets to the end zone. They win. And after the game, here's what Ryan Day had to say to that old bastard Lou Holtz.
Like, I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
I mean, okay, again, I love this. I want to celebrate this, but I desperately want to make fun of it from so many different angles. First off, I never think about Ohio, so I don't know if it is actually Ohio against the world. Like, as I kind of float through life, I'm never just like, God damn it, fuck Ohio. Like, I don't know, sure, whatever, dude. But mainly here's the question. Not even getting into him taking exception what an 86-year-old man said on a show where he's talking to a Lou Holtz impersonator. And yes, I know it's college football everywhere. It's provincial prom. Shut the fuck up. Sorry, that's our producer talking in our show chat. Here's my question, Aaron. Is Ohio State actually tough? Because I would say resilient. I'll accept mental toughness. I don't know if I'm accepting line of scrimmage toughness. I mean, they could not gain those short to gain situations this game. It burned them multiple times. By the end of the game, they're running jet sweeps on 4th and 1. They're trying to throw it.
That's pretty bad.
Hell, they got in by 6 inches and Notre Dame only had 10 guys. And they ran it right to where the 11th guy should have been lined up, and they still barely got in. So it's like, I get it what he's saying. A bit, it's an exciting game and everything, but like, I think Michigan is still going to whoop Ohio State's ass in the trenches.
No.
You want to rethink that now?
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. Like, I don't think it's gonna be as big of an ass whooping in the trenches as previous years, which may give Ohio State. Like, I do think I will say this, and I know they were better defensively to start the season last year, and they kind of fell off towards the end of the year, obviously with the loss to Michigan, and then how they performed versus Georgia in the playoff game. This is a much better defense because that was a quality Ohio State or Notre Dame offense. That was like to hold Notre Dame to 14 points at home signals to me, and what does Notre Dame want to do? And what have we praised Notre Dame for who their identity is this entire year? That's a hard-nosed, get-after-it offensive line with some big-ass running backs that just want to just beat you to death. And and Notre Dame ran the ball somewhat effectively. By the end of the day, they only scored 14 points.
I know.
Like, you held your own on the road in a big-time environment. So I know you focus on the offensive side of the football, and the offensive line maybe not as dominant, but like Trayvon Henderson looks like he did a few years ago. Like that is one of the best running backs in that conference. You still have elite playmakers on the outside. You have a young, inexperienced quarterback that only made his 4th career start. He's going to take what he did this past weekend and hopefully continue to get better and better and better. So if the passing game gets better and the quarterback gets better, that's going to help the offensive line when it comes to running the football even more effectively with Travion. So And then you have a better defense. Like I disagree. Like this is a more physical football team in years past. Are they as physical as Michigan? Probably not.
Yeah.
But they are more physical than who they've been. Plus, they're still better at the skill position than Michigan, which gives them a better opportunity to win that football game. I still have Michigan winning, but more of a chance. More of a chance.
You make good points, dude. I'm just being a hater. Going into that environment, find a way to win the game. That is toughness. I'll give you that. It's just that I think it's, they just really, I'm mainly just focused on the O-line. You're right. Also, we'll say this though, Aaron, I don't know about you. That legitimately may be the first time I've ever heard Ryan Day speak. To me, he's just been like a human Lego figure, like a Just for Men Lego commercial figure, basically. And so, you know what? Maybe I need to listen to Ryan Day more, because the first thing I hear now, it's kind of give me a little juice. He's pretty fired up. I kind of love it a little bit. I feel like I had one more Ryan Day joke, maybe. Can't remember it. Oh, well. But Ohio State, massive win, right? Massive win, passing the first big test. All of a sudden now too, Aaron, Notre Dame's playoff hopes not done by any mean, but took a big blow. Took a big blow. If they had gotten that one, your boy would have been victory lapping about the Notre Dame playoff call. Now, maybe not so much. Okay, last thing here, Aaron, and until we get our top 10, and we'll go through this quickly, but I just had to mention it. And I know this doesn't, this isn't some of the big names that we're always talking about, but we got to shout out the Left Behind Bowl. Just an absolute classic out in Pullman, Washington, the Battle of the Bastards. Cam Ward, yet another excellent Pac-12 quarterback. Yeah. Watching this cat is so much fun, dude. It's like watching somebody play backyard football. He's just running around back there, extended plays, launching it downfield. He finishes 28 of 34 for 404, 4 touchdowns through the air. He ran for a 5th, and Wazoo pulls it out 38-35. Came down to an onside kick at the end, in which, it was an incredible onside kick, actually. Washington State tried to screw it up. They barely get on it, and they escape with a huge ranked. It's their first over top 15 opponents since 2018.
Huge win. This was probably the best game of the weekend, besides the third best game.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like if you take away, I guess if you like offenses, I'll take that back, because I do appreciate, like I said earlier in the show, I do appreciate a good quality football game that's 17-14. Like
FSU,
those are my
Clemson, and Notre Dame, Ohio State were better in this one. That's completely fair. Oregon State made it late this year to make it exciting, but it was. But no. It's fine. It's fine. It's their best.
It was a good game. It was a really good game.
It was a great game.
Cam Ward's a freak, man. I think all of us a lot of us, including myself, have been very enamored with DJU and the storylines of how well he's playing this year, and a new jersey on, and obviously you've seen Clemson struggle at 2-2 to start the season off. But this wasn't about him. This was about Cam Ward and him coming out there, I think 19 of 20 to start the first half. And not just dink and dunks too. Like go up the first drive, he's throwing bombs down the field and right on target to those receivers where they're catching it in stride and making plays against a very good Oregon State defense. Very impressed with Cam Ward.
I would say
another Heisman contending quarterback in the Pac-12.
Well,
that's another one.
That's what I want to look at real quick here in a second as a chart. I would say I was on the Wazoo money line. You know why? Because of Pullman, Washington. You always have to be careful going into Pullman. Do you know there's only 32,000 in the city of Pullman? 32,000. All they give a fuck about are the Cougs, okay? And when the Cougs are hot, so is Pullman. Be careful. Like Corvallis, 60,000 people in Corvallis. Might as well be New York City compared to the homies over there in Pullman. All there is to do is just watch football. Also, how about this?
Have you seen Cam Ward sets?
We're about to get into it.
75%, 13 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and then another 3 rushing touchdowns on top of that.
Wait, how about this? There's a Janikowski kicking for Washington State, but no relation to Sebastian. This is a random Janikowski. Fuck are the chances? All right, let's look at these because you're right. This Cam Ward thing sent me down a hole. If you click top-rated quarterbacks right now in the Pac-12 alone, Aaron, you get Caleb Williams at number 1 with a 223 which leads the nation. 15 touchdowns, 0 picks, 74% completion, and 12 yards per attempt. Then you get Michael Penix Jr., who's a 209, 16 touchdowns to 2 picks, 400 yards a game, 12 yards per completion, and 74%. Then you get Cam Ward, who's 74%, 10 yards completion, 13-0 touchdown to picks. Then you get Bo Nix, 11-1, Shadur, 11-1, Dante Moore, 8-2. Like, it is insane the amount of talented quarterback play in one conference right now.
It is. And the defenses aren't horrendous by any means. Like, you could maybe say, like, oh, offenses in the Pac-12 have always been great, and there's just a massive gap between the offenses. Like, there's some quality defenses. Like, UCLA is a really good defense. Oregon State's a good defense. Oregon's a good defense. Like, there are good defenses in that league. It's just the offenses and the quarterbacks are on a different level this year. Like, you could go down the list, and there's 5 quarterbacks right now that could be potential top 2-round quarterbacks over the next 2 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, it's what a time. What a time. The Shakespearean irony of the Pac-12's demise continues to play out in front of our face, and it's glorious, sad but glorious. Finally, Aaron, it's time for a little Snaps Top 10. And already, immediately when me and you signed into Streamlab today, we started fighting because you tried to pull some bullshit with this top 10. So why don't you just go ahead and lead us off and tell us who you think should be the top 10 teams in the entire country. Or no, don't do that. We're going to go and crap this like we always do, bit by bit. I think, okay, you start. Go.
Okay. I'll just give my first 2 and then we'll go from there. I have Georgia 1, FSU 2.
Okay. Already, then what the fuck are we doing? Already, this is so flawed and so stupid. Georgia and Michigan get treated with the same respect or disrespect in these rankings. This is not the AP. We don't have to give credence to championships of the past. I don't see Stetson Bennett on this team. Okay. So no, get the hell out of here, dude. If you are going to bump Florida State,
we talked the entire offseason about why is Georgia 1 in the preseason, because until you knock the king down, he will stay at number 1
for the AP poll. This ain't the AP poll. We don't have to be beholden to that sort of stuff. My point is, you want to put Florida State at 3, even though they got the 2 best wins in the country, best pair of wins, put them at 3. But you're not split. You're not like, what has this season, not last season, this season, what is the difference between Michigan and Georgia that Florida State should jump one and not the other?
The mindset of until the top team in the country loses, until the back-to-back defending national championship team loses.
I just said taking out the back-to-back element.
How can you take out the back-to-back? Like what?
What have you done for me lately? Okay, this season of football, who are the top 10 teams this season of football?
Okay, fine. We'll take out the back-to-back national champs. We'll take them out. That's stupid. They're the champs. They will be the champs until someone else wins a championship, but we'll take them out. We will take them out. The number 1 team right now, if we had to just purely pick off what has happened this season, regardless of where you were ranked in the preseason, regardless of what happened last season, the team that has the best resume. But that's the problem too. It's not about just resume, like who's looked the best.
Yeah. Yeah. And the mixture of resume and looking the best would go to Florida State. And that's with problems. Florida State has to be better. They has to be better on first, second down.
I'd put Texas at 1 then. I'd put Texas at 1.
Texas has vastly underperformed outside of the Alabama game. Watch out. Hey,
it's a mixture. It is a mixture. Not this past weekend. They whooped Baylor's ass this weekend. So don't.
Baylor's awful. Baylor's awful. You know Baylor's awful. What are you talking about?
Florida State, Boston College is awful too. And Florida State almost lost to Boston College.
I don't care. I care more about your big wins. I care more about your big wins.
They went into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama by double digits.
Yeah, and you just saw FSU go into Clemson and beat LSU to start
and look bad. And Clemson, we talked about yesterday. Clemson had multiple opportunities with self-inflicted wounds that should have kind of run away with the game at points. Should have created double-digit leads.
You don't get to play this game. You don't get to
I
play
will
the
play
game.
that game. Florida State was not the better team in that game. They found a way to win. Congratulations. A hell of a win. They were not the better team in that game. Clemson played the better football game.
Look, you sit here and tell me all the time about how Bama's like an 8-4 team, and yet now you want to suck off Texas for being an 8-4 Bama. What is it?
They won't be.
What is it? Okay.
Still,
you tell me that LSU's good, and yet Florida State beat the shit out of LSU.
And when we look at the end of the season, Clemson has a better chance to be 8-4 than Alabama does right now.
Texas's 1 win does not beat Florida State's 2.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Texas
I'm trying
fans,
to say, like, looking at, but once again, it's not just you just talked about, it's not the resume. There's a part of this that is an eye test for me as well. Texas, to me, looks like the better football team than FSU.
I'm going to see what they do against Kansas this weekend.
It's a good challenge. I agree. I think it's a big.
Kansas is catching 17. I put the bet down immediately. It's plus 17 for Jalen Daniels and the Hawks. Tell me you don't like it.
I do like it. I saw that this morning. I was like, ooh, kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that has less to do with Texas and more of like Kansas is a very good team with a very good quarterback.
I think FSU would have a great chance of beating Florida on a neutral field, or beating Georgia on a neutral field right now, or Michigan.
I think Texas is the better football team.
So what, you want Texas 1?
I would put if I had to just purely put this is a brand new ranking. We're starting fresh right now. Once again, nothing to do with last season and Georgia winning back-to-back national championships. I think Texas has looked the best to start the season.
You know how
the best football team to me.
You know how embarrassing it's going to be if we put Texas 1 and then Kansas goes and beats them. And I love Kansas, to be clear. Kansas just keeps making us money. The Snaps boys love Kansas.
We do.
All right. You know what? I would still rather in our top 10 honor resume and what you've actually done. So yeah, sure. Fuck it. Texas 1, Florida State 2, Georgia 3, Michigan 4.
I mean, if you want to go resume
or bump Ohio State up to 3,
then bump Ohio State up.
Okay, fine. Texas, Florida State, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan.
No, like if we're like Georgia, Michigan haven't done shit. So like what's like, and it's not like they've looked extremely impressive either. We're just purely going off the fact that everyone assumed these were the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country heading into the season. I still think they're going to be there, but you haven't done it yet. And they haven't done it against a quality opponent, and neither team has looked extremely dominant this year.
Yeah, so let's ding him for it. Let's ding him for it.
We'll ding him for it.
Fuck him. Good. Wow. Hell yeah.
Okay. Need to change my shit up. All right, so 1 FSU. One Texas.
I gave you
1
that.
Texas, 2 FSU,
Ohio
3
State.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
4 Washington.
Yeah, now we're fucking cooking. Yes. I agree. And then
I go 5 Oregon.
I'm not that impressed by the Colorado win, right? There's levels to this, right? Like already, even Washington, I'm a little bit like you've just been so dominant every week that I'll take it. But even Washington, I want to play a good team. Get that good notch on the belt.
Oh, but, so is this when we go back to now 5 Georgia, 6 Michigan?
That's what I think. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
5
the
Georgia,
teams
6
ahead
Michigan.
have looked really, really good. Plus, they've had some good resume builders.
Yes, I agree.
5 Georgia, 6 Michigan, 7. I'm putting Oregon above Penn State. I still don't believe in Penn State. I don't believe in Penn State.
Really? Because Jake Hester told me this morning he thinks that Penn State could be the best team in the country.
No.
So who are you putting at 7?
Oregon. Then I'll put Penn State at 8.
Okay.
I don't believe in Penn State offense.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I do not believe in Penn State's offense at all. At all. You do not have the playmakers on the outside. I think Alar is good. I don't think he's elite. And when you have a good quarterback plus average receivers on the outside, that worries me versus when you do place Ohio State and when you do face Michigan.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, that valid concerns. I
mean, what was a better offense? Who has a better offense, Notre Dame or Penn State? Who are you taking? I'm taking Notre Dame.
I would take Notre Dame. I'd take Hartman. Yeah, for sure.
And look what Ohio State just did to that offense.
All right. So I'm obviously USC 9, I'm guessing, right? Right?
USC 9, I got LSU 10.
LSU 10. Is there an undefeated team that should be in ahead of LSU?
I don't think so. I mean, you have Utah, which they're a hard team to judge because it's
I
hard to
just
judge
can't
without
give you. I
Cam
mean,
Rising.
yeah, like what's going on? And they're
Yeah.
injured. It's not just Cam. They're injured to all hell.
Yes.
Like I'm not even. I feel bad for Utah because if they're getting fucked, like they may be getting fucked just purely by injuries.
I think if Oklahoma would have dominated Cincinnati this weekend, I would have felt maybe
I could have done that.
Maybe
I could have done that
because they've looked better this year. The defense, I mean, but that's a good thing. Like the defense has played really well.
Let's throw an OU.
No, I can't not put. I think LSU is one of the best teams in the country.
Okay. All right. I think that's a list. I think that's a list. Jesus Christ. Texas #1 on a Snaps top 10.
I love it.
Did I just get gaslit? Is this how you used to take women home in college? Like, what just happened? I don't even understand exactly what just happened. I'm still just hung up on Ryan Day saying it's Ohio versus the world. Like, is there like a French small business owner right now? He like runs a cafe in, I don't know, like Northern France, and he's just like, fucking Ryan Day.
The no one believes in us. You know, it's our small community. It's the world has literally been done for thousands of years.
Look what Kirby did last year. What did Kirby do last year? No one believes in you. You're 7-5. It's Georgia against the world.
But y'all can see the comedic potential of somebody in Afghanistan just fucking sitting there and smashing their Turkish coffee because they're so fucking furious at Ohio State winning the game. Damn it. Ohio versus the world. I agree, Day.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck is Lou Holtz? That's a good question. You think Ryan Day would have fought him if he'd seen him? Because like that's the only time you ever say where
Lou is on the sideline, just like someone roaming around. Lou, I see you.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Now that's what I want in my college football. Speaking of drama, an 86-year-old man getting beat up by a healthy and hale 50-year-old just for men model. David D. Ryan Day dies of sideburns beard just like Jesse Gemstone. He does.
No, he does what my lady did to me last week. She got like that.
What?
When I got my haircut, she got like eyeliner, did the eyeliner into a brush, and then brushed my beard to fill in the patches and the gray. Maybe that's what he does. He just gets some eyeliner and a brush and just.
Do you have some gray coming in? Really? Oh wow, look at that. Do I have gray coming in? Not too much yet, I don't think. Good to go. Daniel says coaching is 5% coaching, 95% gaslighting your team into thinking no one believes in them.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, that'll do it for today's show. Massive thank you, everybody, joining us live here on YouTube. Please, y'all, please help us hit 6K. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. You know, we really want to hit 10K. And what's the first step? Winning the moment and getting to 6. Okay. You can Google Snaps Podcast for Apple, Spotify, wherever you find it there. Rate it, review it. All these things help grow the show. And just like, you know, telling your friends about it. So just thank you because we love doing this. Huge thank you to Pat Gunther, Ryan Brumley, Danny Cardenas, Chris Tran, Christian Hunter, Adam Gracia. Thank you, Aaron Murray. And most of all, thank you to everybody who listens and hangs out with us every single day. Y'all are the best. Aaron, take it easy, man. And we will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Snaps.